All right, this is hoping, hoping there's enough space so you can see me. Okay, it's our 45-minute evening Hatha, and I went to a sound healing recently, and I posted it on my Instagram. Just a couple photos, like in the story. But if you're interested, if you are in Northeast Ohio and you're wondering where to go to a sound healing, reach out. But at the sound healing, ever since I went through, first, it was quite an experience because I've never been to a sound healing that had such an array of instruments. There were flutes, there were drums, singing bowls, gongs, lots of things happening. And with all of those modalities, I kind of offered something for every person. Everyone, has their specialties and everyone has their different things that's going on with their bodies and their minds and soul level, higher self things. And so to be able to have that and it make sense and the vibration in the space was it was just such an experience. And then after for myself, there's just been this like request of continued calmness for my body and higher self to kind of refigure out and realign and kind of figure out and look internally to problem solve with some things and just kind of see, questions that I've had, kind of see what responses come in, because universe and earth time is not the same as human time, with all of our schedules and things, and as people, for me, it's been a lot of years of patience, slow down, patience, and so that anxiousness still comes in where I'm just like, oh, I need responses now, or I just want them now, right? Um, and so it's staying with that and kind of soothing it over. I had something yesterday that was a reminder of that, and it was to slow down and be patient, and then open up outside of self, because even at times of growth, or when I'm opening up, or I'm listening, or I have this, I can get stuck in like my calendar or what's you know like right around me, and then I'll be doing something random or my mind will quiet and I'll be like, oh man, like now I get it. So thank you for coming into this evening hatha, and thank yourself for being here, because there's no music typically when I do this, and there's just kind of atmosphere and noises around. But even that white noise and different things outside of self just kind of dissipate when we come together. And it allows, just for that silence of sound, so that the higher self or outside of self can welcome answers and discoveries to things that you've been requesting. And with that, is a great time to so this has been like my favorite season, so I get super excited and super giddy, which is probably opposite of, of like where my emotions, like someone would say, like, oh, you don't want too much excitedness, because then it takes you to a state, where it's like dealing with things. I've been reading a lot of like the emotions, and how things can go to extremes one way or the other. But with that, it's so interesting because society likes to push us kind of into extremes, like, oh, we're either very sad, very very low and sad, or we're very happy and we're very elated. And I don't know, I guess it's more giddy, so I'm not like like crazy with it. But yeah, but it does feel good. And maybe it's that feeling of my heart chakra being open, because we have full moon in Libra, and I'm a Libra. And then we are in the sun sign, we're in Aries season. And so my I call it my human, or my partner, my my DM, I think, is a more uh, calling of that. And so it just is like wild to think of the journey that we've been on and kind of these connections because Aries and Libra are quite can be quite the same, but on different, like extreme levels. Like the Libra losing self in love and kind of getting lost in thought, and the Aries being very like logical and here and it's like in making sense of what's in front of them and like Libra getting kind of caught up in our emotions and the Aries kind of being that opposite, like bringing down the Libra from getting lost in those emotions or the Libra bringing up the Aries to welcome some of that in. And so it's just fun when I think for any person or any couple, when, whether it be like best friends or relationship couple or parent family dynamic, to see the dynamics between the signs and how they intertwine. And so for me, it's when I look at the journey and kind of evaluate where things are, it's just like a very, yeah, it just brings me back to that kind of like giddiness of just seeing those truths and it does bring me down to 3D human level here, because I also see what maybe others don't, right? I'm the person in this dynamic and ship that I like to call it. And so I see the similarities. And so there's some people see this, the pushing, and I see the kind of like form fitting in of like, okay, this helps to see that in Awaken, that helps to see that in Awaken. And so when others are seeing this, or it might feel like this on the outside, when we really stop and pause, it's how does it fit? And so it can be, even if you just look at your signs for fun discovery of that, I encourage it just because it can welcome a learning opportunity. And so, with that, in being in the full moon in Libra, this one is about so many boundaries, boundaries, and boundaries, which will go into intention for our practice. And we're going to do a meditation at the end to celebrate this full moon Libra, with that. And even this article that I found, this is by Yoga Journal, talks about every sun season has its opposing full moon. For Aries, the sign of the self, that full moon is Libra. So, in the midst of Aries season and in between two new moons in Aries, the full moon in Libra is adding to the fire. It's adding some air to the fire. So, the fire sign of Aries asks us to be bold and decisive, which is another thing. Libras tend to be indecisive. So, Aries is asking to take action and check in with the internal, check in with reflexes, instinct, response systems, and kind of allow the Libra to kind of nestle into that, which is ruled by Venus, Aries by Mars, and Venus is the planet of love and beauty. And so it reminds us to connect with what we have in life with love when we're making these decisions. Are they coming from a place of love? Or are they coming from a place of fear or overwhelm? This is in our highest energy. The Libra gives us patience, compassion, and willingness to understand other people's perspectives, but not allow them to become something negative that then in turn becomes the reasoning for our decision making. So it is important to welcome boundaries, which the sign of Aries is a sign that is good and known for being able to keep and make boundaries and having them around the heart, mind, and energy. And they are not meant to be harsh. It's not meant to, look at other people's perspectives or thoughts and feelings and just crush them or push them to the side. But it's like, okay, like I see your point of view or I'm open to this, but what is going to be able to, you know, be best and highest, be the best, and like do well for the highest self. So, and protect that peace that can come with that. And with the Libra, that's helping to understand the impact of relationships on the soul's mission. It helps us to understand how to create peace within ourselves. When we allow others to affect our energy, emotions, and thoughts, we lose control over our peace, or even if we allow ourselves to, our fear and ego to get in and lose kind of control of our thoughts and peace. We have to stop defining the vibration we live in, and instead we're absorbing others' energies and all of that overwhelming and anxiety and fear-based and ego-based kind of things coming in. And so there are different various ways that we could understand and feel that these boundaries are being kind of pushed, or that we're being pushed into spaces that are maybe not for our best. And so that's when it can be good to take hold of some of that Aries energy and put it forth. So if you're an indecisive person, what can you do? How can you slow your thoughts down to then evaluate and make a decision and stick with that decision? Sometimes we'll make a decision and then we'll change our minds 2 minutes later. But what about making the decision that at that present time is for our deepest and highest and truest self and good? Now, later on, if that decision needs to change or be adapted, that will come about later on. So, with that, it's also then looking outside of our comfort zone. As we have this full moon in Libra, with an Aries, and being able to make a decision or being able to take action, that can move people out of the comfort zone and or just stuck in the patterns that we find ourselves. And so with having, that's when that indecisiveness comes back in and that overwhelm. So it's being able to kind of just embrace that discomfort, and understanding that it can be painful, but in making decisions that are really going to help and benefit you or self, and then allowing that pain kind of to see what comes up, because it maybe feel like you're losing a part of yourself, or you're letting others down, sometimes can be surprising in a way where, yes, we are meant to change. We're meant to lose pieces of ourselves as time goes on. I am not the same person I was at 12. I'm not the same person I was at 14. I'm not the same person that I was yesterday after the growth and lessons that I had yesterday, even, and from the sound bath this weekend. And it can be kind of feeling kind of in this muck. But the full moon and this round right now really encourages just kind of staying within that kind of just, yeah, staying within that muck for a bit, allowing that discomfort to be there, that pain, and just that, like, oh, I want it to be over. But having patience, looking at things with clarity, with new eyes, taking a deep breath, slowing down the mind, and being like, wow, I made this decision. Typically, I'm indecisive, and that's gotten me nowhere. I made this decision. Now I'm progressing. Then I can go from there with the next steps. Because also, as we move into spring, this is a pink moon, which goes back to that Venus and love and whatnot, but it also, pink moon for spring, that deals with or kind of opens up to the spring flowers, spring blossoms, and allowing this time for newness, this rebirthing, this renewal, and growth. So we're allowing ourselves this renewal, this growth. We're progressing forward after making decisions and taking action. And then we kind of do go through that same process. You make some steps in action, you review, you analyze, see what works within it, and then next step again. And we're going to make mistakes. We're humans. All humans make mistakes. There is no perfect human. And kind of letting go of that perfection and just diving in. And if it's something that is kind of a pattern something, it'll get better as it goes on because you'll be learning. And otherwise, if it's a other decision where you're like, oh, I wasn't going to do this or that, and then I did it, and it kind of came out good, but kind of not. That's a learned lesson. Go forth and do it again. Now you've kind of wallowed in this humility. You're okay. You're getting past ego and fear because you're allowing you to have this humility and kind of this like, oh man, that didn't work out, whether it involves someone else or not, or work or home or whatever or not. And it's just moving on, moving forth with it. Most people don't remember things from after time passes anyways, because they're also kind of engulfed in themselves. So it just welcomes us giant, like, bubbled outside viewing of, outside of self, which could snowball into so many other conversations and things. But really, what we want to kind of think of here, I'm going to think of here, and you are welcome to think of this here, is pink moon for spring, going back to that decisiveness with the Libra moon, which can kind of bring into awareness. Or if someone falls into one extreme, it can add excuses, avoidance, and blocking things that could be for your higher good. Not acknowledging or taking responsibility for the mistakes made, or acknowledging the lessons learned. But we can be adults. I'm going to choose to be an adult. I was an adult yesterday, and I will be one today. And taking responsibility and taking action and making decisions and making choices and not allowing a sense of too many choices. That is something that can literally cause the brain to shut down, so to speak. And it's just stepping back, taking a breath, and then moving forward. And also, if it deals with relationships or communication or kind of situations where we find escapism, this is something that's been coming up for me and a friend quite a bit that we've talked on the phone about, is to stop running and to deal and overcome or release or progress. And not physical running all the time, although I've been that one to physically run for escapism, but it can go back to that blocking, avoidance, excuses. That is still running. We can't run from our problems. I had a friend reach out to me recently that said, I just need to leave the city. And on a lot of my travels over the last few years, I've been to so many places that I was like, wow, this place is great, blah, blah, blah. This is fun. This is beautiful. Look at that. And then people there are saying the same thing that me or my friends that I talk to here from hometown are saying, oh, we just need to leave. We just need to get out of here. And then you leave and you find out it's just different atmosphere, but the situations aren't changing, right? The issues aren't changing. And so then it's facing those problems, whether you do it virtually, whether you do it from where you are at that time, or you go back home and you take care of it. And so I still have not responded to my friend that messaged that, but it's something where at one, I can share my experience and say, I've done that and it helps in this way, but not in this way for me. And then they need to outline their things and kind of go through and evaluate for themselves to figure out what's best for them. Maybe they do want a little breath of fresh air. Maybe they do want to temporarily leave and then come back later or what have you. But eventually, it's been in every movie and show and article. I mean, we hear it all the time, right? We can't run from our problems, but we run in so many ways, and sometimes people don't even realize they're running because it doesn't look like a physical run. It's not a physical leave. It is a block. It is avoidance. It is, I'm just going to work this and keep working, and that I don't have to deal with this at home, or I'm not going to go to work. I'm going to quit and get a new job so that I don't have to deal with this person at work, or school is this and that and I don't want to deal with that, or this person here makes me uncomfortable and I don't want to deal with them. All these eyes and not dealings, come back into body and self, breathe, moments of silence, and see what resonates. Okay. That's the spiel with the full moon Libra. And now we are going to get into our practice, and then we're going to have, I'm going to leave this close by so that I can keep watch for the time. And then we'll have our meditation at the end. And I want to make sure that we have meditation done. So go ahead and make your way to the mat. If you're adapting this to chair, then grab your seat. Adapt as needed. If you have questions about adapting any of the poses to chair, message me. You're going to go ahead and just relax the feet, extend them out in front of body. Start to grow in the spine. Take a deep inhale, lengthen the spine, the crown towards the sun and sky. Hands can be restful and supported next to body or in thighs. Take a deeper, deeper, deeper breath here. Hold it for a moment. And then when you cannot hold that breath any longer, release through the mouth with a sigh. Let go. Let's do that again. Inhaling, lengthening. Exhale. And one more. Hold. When you can't hold any longer, exhale. And really allow the entire body to soften. Allow the spine, the head, the neck, everything to soften. A little roundness maybe coming in the shoulders and back. We're going to allow the chin to fall to chest. Eyes can be closed. Little stretch in the back of the neck. Then when ready, roll up the spine, start to lengthen. Head lifts, vision forward, creep the arms through center, up to ceiling and sky. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, forward fold. Hatha is about feeling the breath, slowing down the asanas and stretches and poses to really feel the body. So while you're finding your forward fold, maybe you have bent knees, maybe you bend and unbend one knee then the other, then eventually lengthening or strengthening both. Lifting the upper body, the shoulders move away from the ears. Inhale, exhale, breathing, and allowing that upper body to fall over the lower body. Allow the head to soften once again. Maybe that chin to chest, allowing a stretch that's now not only going to reach through the neck, but float down the spine. Hello and welcome, Kundalini energy. Take any breaths that are calling you. Then when ready, gently release, roll up the spine. Find a staff pose. Hands come to sides, palms pressing in, fingers are together, pointing forward, elbows unbent, toes flexed towards ceiling, vision is forward. Bring the chin down just a smidgen. Check in with that spine. Tail might slightly lift off of the mat. If you're in seat, you want to hold on to that chair sturdy, so adapt those hands as needed. It's going to stretch in the hands and palms. Also, kind of feel it pulling, the feet pulling one direction, the crown pulling the other. And then soften. We're going to creep the hands down the legs slowly down towards the feet, forward fold once again. Was working on my Sunday classes. We're working on Sanskrit. So we're going through our vinyasa practice and welcoming Sanskrit vocabulary. And so I have a very, my mind visualizes very well. And so it's nice to see those cards, those words in my mind, thinking about the forward fold. Even if it's not perfect, I can see the card, but in my head, it's like the Paschimottanasana, Paschimottanasana or something like that for forward fold. But it's just cool to have that visualization, even though I still have not perfected the pronunciation. That's all right. I'll get there. Take a longer breath in your forward fold. Really allow maybe a little bit closer belly feel on the thighs, the knees are lengthening, unbending. Allow that head to rest and relax. Then when ready, roll up the spine once again. Breathing as you need. We're going to slowly allow the feet to float over to one side. Hands are coming forward. And then we're going to make our way towards the center or middle of the mat. Press the hands and palms into the mat underneath you. We're going to go into cows and cats. So if you're seated, just find those seated cows and cats. Otherwise, on the mat, find at your own pace and time, making your way through. Breathing, inhaling, exhaling. We're going to celebrate with some different forms of moons also. So find maybe one or two more cows and cats. Breathing. And return to tabletop at center, and then find some crescent moons side to side. So inhaling through center, exhaling as the crown and tail shoot from one side to the other. Return to center, and we're gonna downward dog. So seated downward dogs, adapt as you need. Maybe you have a second chair with you. If you're on mat, you're gonna pedal out those feet. You're gonna wag that tail as you make your way into your downward dog. Any ujjayi breaths, anything that's calling you. Maybe you lift up off those heels. Check in with the feet, see if they are aligned with the hips. We're going to go ahead and then slowly bring the feet to center. You're going to find yourself in a forward fold once again. The fingertips or hands or palms are connected to mat. Allow that head to invert and forward. That's the forward fold. And maybe you bend and unbend the knees in your Uttanasana. Halfway lift. Engage, lengthen, exhale. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Exhale. Halfway lift. We're going to exhale, roll up slowly, bending the knees. Take your time, no rush, no hurry. Come up to standing, take some shoulder rolls towards the back. And then take some shoulder rolls towards the front. Love to get like the wild hair after wearing a hat. Find for Tadasana. You're standing, we're still in the middle of the mat, or you're seated Tadasana. Adjust or shake anything out that's being requested to leave the body through exhalation and breath and awakening the body and the nadis. Then welcome stillness in your Tadasana. Breathing. We're going to work with a little balance, support as you need. We're going to go ahead, we're going to take the arms out their sides, raise them up to ceiling and sky. Exhale, chair pose. We're going to focus on one side of body. I'm focusing on my right, so I'm going to welcome Anjaliya Mudra to heart. Tuck that tail. I love in class we talk about the tailbone going down, getting us further in that seated, standing seated. And if you'd like, you could add a little challenge. You're welcome to lift the heels off the ground. You don't have to, but you're welcome to if you're looking for a little challenge today. I'm going to take a twist to the side. I'm taking my twist to the right. So you would be opposite of me if you're doing right side. Option to open. And connect palms together, bring it down to heart. We're going to rise, stand on the left foot, right foot and leg is going to rise, knee lift. You could continue to have the hands at heart center, or option to help the body with balance. You could bring the hands underneath the right thigh or whichever leg is lifted. Breathe here. We're going to go ahead and see if you can keep this leg close to center. I've done this in my stretch classes. And then allow your hand to make the way down towards the foot. We're going to allow a stretch. And a petite dancer pose. If you choose, you could release the opposite arm forward, a little rounding in the elbow, and forward fold. Take your time moving nice and slow. We're still stretching the body, so a petite dancer. So unless you're warmed up already, you don't have to go full. Then we're going to come back to center. Take your time. Go ahead and allow that knee to come forward once again. And then take the hand down towards foot. And extend and lengthen. And still keep a little bent knee here. We're just warming up. If you're feeling good, you're welcome to straighten it out. Then bring it back, and that foot can find floor once again. Kind of shake or kind of take anything out that you need. And then we're going to find that forward fold. Inhale, arms up. Swan dive, forward fold. Uttanasana. Just warming up still, so you don't have to go full throttle. Unless, like I mentioned, you've already been doing yoga or workouts or you're feeling loose, challenge yourself. Sure. We're just releasing, we're challenging ourselves, we're taking action, we're making decisions, not getting lost in our thoughts. You could always reset, restart. We're going to halfway lift. Exhale. Halfway lift. Exhale. Halfway lift. We're going to exhale, release, then roll up. Nice and slow, take your time. Come back to standing Tadasana. Find those shoulder rolls, 3 towards the back. And 3 to the front. Adjust, prepare the body. Find stillness in your Tadasana. Maybe a smile. Still have a little playfulness. Even in decision making. I'm going to go ahead, take the arms out, find chair. I did right before, so now I'm going to find left. Do your opposite. Option to lift those heels off the floor if you choose. Little toe stretch, then bring it back down. Take a twist. Option to open. Bring it back. And find that balance. Opposite leg will rise. Option to keep the hands where they are or take them underneath. Breathe, relax the shoulders, grow tall. Have a little bend in that standing leg if you choose. And then when ready, find that quad stretch towards the back. Opposite arm of leg that's lifted comes forward for petite dancer. Then take it back forward. Take what you need. You could hold here. You could always reset. For me, that's my interesting side, as I say. So take what I need. Could even have a wall and use the wall if you choose. And then find that inside foot. Breathe and extend and lengthen. And then release when you need. I know this leg always sometimes needs a break, sometimes it doesn't. Changes every time. Breathe, shake it out, come back to standing Tadasana. Inhale, exhale, Tadasana. Then when ready, arms reach out, float to ceiling and sky, swan dive, Uttanasana. Take any knee bends, any ragdolls, any ujjayi breaths. Then the hands come down. We're going to take a moment, just stretch through our shoulders, our shoulder blades, our back. So if you have the fingertips connected to the mat or floor in front of the feet, go ahead and see if you can get the entire fingers to press down into mat. Then you're not only stretching down into those shoulders and shoulder blades, you're also going to hop that stretch down the spine and into the legs, full body back stretch. So then option to see if the thumb wants to connect. No stress, no pressure. No worry if not. Listen to your body. You can even do the backs of the hands. Breathe, release, let go. Eventually, maybe the palms want to touch, maybe not. Little things that can take us so far. That are steps of action. Or maybe you're focused more on that belly coming close with the lower body, and you intertwine your fingers behind the legs and come close to body. gonna really take that stretch down the backs of the legs. Take a breath of release, let go, and we're gonna creep the hands forward. We're gonna take the legs back into downward dog. You're gonna pedal out those feet, and then you're gonna find one knee to bend, one leg straight, and then the opposite. And then gently bring the knees back down, find yourself in tabletop. Take the legs to side, tail finds back of mat, feet come out forward. I'm gonna find a half fish pose. So I'm gonna go ahead and allow one foot to come down and towards the tail, opposite hip or tail. Then front foot is gonna cross over. You could hold here and just breathe. Or you can go ahead and back swing the arm, the side of the back foot is out, and you could take the opposite arm outside that leg and stretch and twist. Option to raise that arm up. Some people like to take little mudras here. It's up to you. Then release. We're going to take it to the opposite side. This is also a good one that helps to warm up with the Gomukhasana, the cow face pose, which I posted on Instagram too today. Full circle. All right, option to take those arms where you choose. My friend Ray always says that. Full circle. Such a night. Breathe. And when ready, release. So Gomukhasana and cow face pose, I'll just show it really quick as you're releasing out. Take any little shakes or whatnot that you need. The legs, it's a hip opener, just like we're doing. Kind of aligning the knees over one another. Eventually, depending on your body type and the way your body functions and works. Sometimes I've seen people have the feet out. I've seen some people bring them in close. I tend to do that. And then the arms can be, feels good. My body's like requesting this. The arms can be here, or they can be here, or you could bring one behind the back and you'll see those little fingers kind of boop, boop, wiggle there on the other side. You could bring that back arm up the spine so the fingers reach up and the other hand goes behind and they grab and reach and it opens up the shoulders, the chest, hips. And you just work with the body. So there's a couple variations you could do and I show with props. So that just balanced me out since I did the opposite side earlier. So I'm gonna go ahead, if you're not running around with me and Gomukhasana, we're gonna extend and lengthen the legs once again. Shake it all out. Breathe. And we're gonna go ahead and allow a little bending in those knees. Once again, the feet are gonna come down to the mat, and then we're gonna allow the feet to fall in one direction. Our knees. Well, feet are falling to one direction, but knees are gonna fall together to one side. Mine went to the right. Take a few breaths. And then align the hips and adjust everything at center, and then follow the opposite side. I did not hit my phone ringer off. I apologize. I don't know if that you could hear that or not. But you're gonna go ahead and allow those knees to come to center. And you're gonna make your way into your preferred Shavasana or moment for peace now. So you have the option to take anything else that your body is requesting. If it's a shake, a stretch, whatever it's asking, you have that option to make your way back into a Sukhasana, easy seated pose, cross legs if you choose, or take your time making your way onto your back for Shavasana, which if you choose to do so, when you make your way onto your back, your knees might follow into the chest. You might find a little side to side massage. You just do what you need for self. I'm going to choose Sukhasana. so that I don't feel sound clouded as we move into our meditation for full moon Libra in this Aries season. So go ahead. I'll give you a couple seconds to get cozy in your space. Maybe you have a little yoga blanket or pillow that you like to get restful on, because you're more than welcome to stay in your moment of peace or shavasana as long as you'd like if you have the time. You don't have to end with me. Take whatever cleansing breaths are calling you. If the eyes are open, allow for a hazy gaze or closed eyes. With every breath, you can start to welcome calmness and peace into the mind and thoughts, allowing stillness to take over the physical body as you settle into pose or position. Allowing the jaw, the eyes, the shoulders, the neck to soften. The chest, the sides, the waist, the hips, the thighs to soften. Sinking into your seat or mat and connecting with your breath. Allowing your breath to be a tool to release and let go anything that is being requested from self to be freed so that you can progress forward and welcome renewal and rebirthing and newness for spring. May you overcome any fears. May you allow your body to wallow in the sun's heat for inspiration and encouragement, for humility, for surpassing, for reaching goals, for taking action, for not being afraid to make mistakes, understanding that you're human and it is part of the process and experience of life. And when you need, and it seems like nothing is functioning, just allowing yourself to breathe. You can always come back to breath. If you are ready to end your practice with me, Go ahead and slowly, slowly, slowly take a deep breath and release. And allow gentle, soft, and slow movements to make their way back into the physical body, whether it be wiggles of toes or fingers, swaying of the hips, or maybe slow circles of the head in one direction and the other. Still breathing, staying within your moment of peace for as long as you'd like. If you're not ready to leave, and taking a breath. Continue to allow your body to awaken, welcoming it back to your space in this present moment in time, slowly awakening the eyes and breathing, releasing, and welcoming your present self to the present, full of newness and renewal. And together, if you would like to end the practice with me, take a big deep inhale in through the nose and hold it for as long as you can, feeling the chest, the belly, the lungs fill. And when you can't hold it any longer, let it go through the mouth. Release with a large, long sigh. Welcome a gentle smile upon your face. And then if for a moment, if you'd like to reclose the eyes, to welcome the sounds of the spring bells that welcome renewal. Take what you need. Thank you for practicing with me. If you have any questions on adapting any of the poses or questions on one of my more read about and knowledgeable modalities of astrology when it comes to the Libra and Aries connection, reach out or drop a question or comment below or in the box or after this post. I'll check it and reply then. And I'll see you later. Take care.